So this was actually not what I was going to lead my show with today. I was going to talk about something else, but I pulled into my driveway, walked into my apartment, saw I got a notification on my phone, and to say I was shocked, to say the least, was interesting. I checked my phone, and the Dallas Cowboys are deciding to keep Mike McCarthy for another year. They're going to run it back. They maybe like what Mike McCarthy did this year. Maybe the playoffs was a one-off, but I have a strong opinion on it, like I normally do. So let's get into it. The Dallas Cowboys, at this point, are just okay with average. They're just okay with being okay. Win 10, win 11, win 12 games on the year, get to the playoffs, and mostly disappoint your fan base. This is not the Cowboys of the 90s, of the triplets, the Mike Irvings, the Troy Aikman, the Emmitt Smith days. This is not those kind of Dallas Cowboys. This is what I've been trying to tell Dallas Cowboys fans for a long time. You might think you're them boys, but you are just not. You have been an irrelevant franchise for 30. That's a harsh way to put it. But you have been a largely irrelevant franchise for 20 plus 25 years, it feels like now. You have less Super Bowl appearances than the Arizona Cardinals. You have less NFC Championship appearances than the Arizona Cardinals. You have less playoff wins than the Arizona Cardinals since the turn of the year 2000. That's abysmal. You are a subpar franchise. So it shouldn't shock me when I see the Dallas Cowboys decide it'd be a good idea to bring back Mike McCarthy. There is only one thing you could really change this offseason. I have lobbied that Dak Prescott is not the quarterback that's going to take you to the promised land. And I've continuously been right on that. Every single year, and I'm going to get on a little bit of a tangent here, I have told Dallas Cowboys fans, the reason why you are unable to win multiple playoff games in the same year is because you have a B-minus quarterback, a B quarterback at best, a quarterback that does really well at home against the Commanders, against Mac Jones and the Patriots, and against Zach Wilson and the Jets. Dak Prescott looks pretty freaking good. But when it comes to playoff time and teams really hone in and figure out what your weaknesses are, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys will never deliver. And the reasoning for that is Dak Prescott makes too much money. He makes way too much money. $40 million large, and he's going to get an extension north of $50 million this year in the offseason. And they'll complain. I had one Dallas Cowboys fan, good guy. I enjoy him. I'm not throwing him under the bus. Good dude. But he would tell me it would be better if they had a running game. Well, you can't get a good running back. You can't sign a good running back. You can't get a third wide receiver. You have to settle for Brandon Cooks. You can't get everyone on the defense you want because your quarterback makes elite tier money and he's just a good quarterback. He doesn't suck, but he's just a good quarterback. So that's the only thing I would say that the Dallas Cowboys could change. They decided against it, and they'll continue to decide against it. Jerry Jones loves him some Dak Prescott. He finds him elite. He pays him elite money. So instead of paying him good money for a good quarterback and being able to build around him, they continuously lie to themselves and explain to themselves that they have a top-tier quarterback, which they just don't have. So they were never going to get rid of Dak Prescott, no matter how much I have lobbied and said that they should do that. So what's the next thing for Dallas Cowboys fans to do? Well, or the Dallas Cowboys organization to do? Get rid of Mike McCarthy. Because as much as I got upset with Dak Prescott for his play on Saturday, Sunday, can't remember the day, doesn't really matter. As much as I got mad at him for his play on Sunday, Saturday, they also came incredibly out flat. That defense that was pin your ears back and get the pass rusher was non-existent. And it'd be unfair of me to not label those things as non-existent. Mike McCarthy, the game plan was not great. He's not a great motivator. He obviously, schematically, thought he could do more to his former team than he really could do. So, you had to move on. It was an obvious thing that they should move on from Mike McCarthy. I don't think it's really going to change anything, barring they get a Jim Harbaugh level higher. But look at the coaching candidates out there. Ask yourself this. If Mike McCarthy was on the market today, who would hire him? What team would hire him? If Mike McCarthy got fired today, or even it was just a mutually parting of ways, who would hire him? Seattle sure wouldn't. Atlanta sure wouldn't. The Titans would not. Those teams are not hiring Mike McCarthy. No one is. So if that's the case, why would you keep him as your head coach? Why would you keep Mike McCarthy? It's the same argument I had for Matt Eberflus of the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys both looked at their head coaches, Matt Eberflus and Mike McCarthy, and then inversely looked at the coaching candidates available, Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, Ben Johnson, and all said, nah, we're going to stick with Mike McCarthy and Matt Eberflus, who have a combined, 2 playoff wins if you combine the Cowboys and Chicago Bears playoff wins? 2? Clock management is a problem with Mike McCarthy. Obviously, schematically, that's a problem in the playoffs for Mike McCarthy. Outside of having Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, not a lot of playoff success for Mike McCarthy. So I don't understand how you look at the coaching candidates available, Jim Harbaugh, Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, and not even try. How do you not even try for one of those guys? It's abysmal. I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan. I've been labeled a Dallas Cowboys hater. But the NFL is just better when the Dallas Cowboys are good. Every single league needs an enemy. LeBron James was an enemy for the NBA when he was on the Heat. The NBA needed that. The NFL needs a common enemy. The NFL needs a villain. Villains are good. I love villains. Some of my favorite make movies awesome. The NFL is just better. It's more fun when the Cowboys are good because it's fun to rag on the Cowboys if you hate the Cowboys. And it's fun to love the Cowboys if you love the Cowboys. This is a lateral move. I don't understand how you couldn't break it down in the simplest of terms. If you let go of Mike McCarthy today, who would hire him? And it just shows what the Dallas Cowboys organization is over the last 25 years. Look at the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll just had a playoff appearance. He has a Super Bowl. He's won multiple playoff games in his times, and he just won 9 games with Geno Smith as his quarterback. 9 games. Seattle said, nope, not good enough. You know who they're planning to bring in for an interview? Ben Johnson, who looks to be schematically a better coach offensively than Mike McCarthy. So there you go. 25 years continuously of mediocrity, and they're going to continue with it. They'll win 10, they'll win 11 games next year, but then they'll flame out in the playoffs like they always do. Clock management, schematically, Mike McCarthy's not good at either. And it's crazy to me how you can look at Mike McCarthy and then look at the other head coaching candidates, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Bill Belichick, and say, you know what, we're going to stick with Mike McCarthy because it's the evil that they know. Crazy, irrelevant, continuously spiraling the drain franchise, largely irrelevant over the past 2 decades and a half. The Dallas Cowboys continuously lower their fan base's expectations, and I just cannot believe after Sunday's debacle against the Packers that Mike McCarthy's keeping his job.